Let's turn to the Trump-Elon Oval Office presser. We've got a sort of this.
Some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really...
For the record, he's referencing $50 million in condoms to Gaza, and everybody, including Elon, assumed that it was to the Gaza Strip in the Israeli-Palestine area, even though there's no such country as a Palestine, but let's just refer to it as such. But it was actually meant for Gaza, Mozambique, and the reporters are, of course, pointing fingers at Elon for being wrong about something. Oh my God, somebody got something wrong.
An enormous number of condoms, if you think about it.
Destiny, what did you make of that? Obviously, it's very unusual. You've got the richest man in America standing next to the President of the United States in the Oval Office by the Resolute desk. He's got his kid with him who's picking his nose. It's all a bit random and weird and surreal. However, I did watch it all. And I kept thinking to myself, if I was an average American watching this, hearing what Elon Musk is doing to federal overspending, I'd be cheering him on. I'd be all in favor of this.
Yeah, unfortunately, the average American, I guess, or the average person just has no idea how government works or functions. And I guess weird and surreal is just the way to describe now, or illegal, I guess, is the way to describe that this administration has decided to address programs that they don't like. If you want to cut down on waste, fraud, and abuse, I don't think anybody would necessarily have a problem with it, but they keep saying waste, fraud, and abuse when what they mean is programs that I don't like, and they've already taken several...
No, we're talking about waste, fraud, and abuse. You can straw man it and say that it's programs that we don't like, and then we have to combat you. That's what a straw man is, issuing an argument that is not reality and presenting it as the other person's.
Almost certainly illegal actions in trying to basically unilaterally dismantle organizations like USAID that have been independently authorized by Congress that the president doesn't have the ability to do, to dismantle unilaterally. And now you've seen TROs coming out from the judiciary that's telling him, hey, you have to...
TRO means temporary restraining order.
Stop. There was the one on the federal spending freeze that not only was a TRO issued telling him that you have to stop freezing these funds. Now another judge has said you are violating the TRO. You need to stop this immediately. So I guess if you don't care about the legality or the process and procedure or anything having to do with the structure of government, I guess it's a cool thing. But if you care about like following the law or the rules or maintaining your government, then it would probably be a horrific thing. But
Andrew?
Yeah, you got this idea. I've heard Destiny kind of talk about this before when he's saying, okay, these are illegal actions and possibly the court's not going to be able to catch up with these illegal actions. And so Trump is just going to basically continue with what he's considering to be illegal actions. Thing is like people forget about things like jury nullification or like the idea that you can have laws. And even if you're the enforcer of the laws, in this case, the executive branch, you don't actually have to enforce these things. There's no, like you're put there for a reason, just like a jury can nullify a law by saying, even though the law says you're guilty, I can still come back with a not guilty verdict. What's happening here is we don't even know what the waste, fraud, and abuse is. And so there's an audit going on, and this is exactly what Musk is doing. They're trying to audit this and get it in front of the attention of the American people to say,
which we all are rooting for.
We don't want condoms for the Taliban. That was 15 million. Promotion of atheism in Nepal for 500,000. French LGBTQ programs in West and Central Africa for $1 million, right? I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
That's your tax dollars being spent on that. You can say there's a drop in the bucket of the federal government's money, but regardless, that's your money. Wouldn't you rather have that back in your pocket?
$200 million 20 days in. I think that the American people do deserve to know that. And I don't think that they would, that this would be front and center or a thing we would be focusing on absent this audit. And I think that more of these government agencies should be audited. Now, Destiny can he can say, well, technically, due to the rule of law, we have judges who are making these impositions and this and that. It's like, yeah, that's fine. But that's all part of the process, too. It's all part of the process of law. The process of law is playing out exactly like it should. Judges are supposed to create injunctions if something illegal is going on, et cetera, et cetera. There's nothing wrong, though, with auditing these places. And for the spirit of transparency, I think that leftists are just pissed for no good reason. Like they go, oh, Musk is collecting all these people's information. It's like unelected officials at the DMV are collecting my information. unelected officials at the Social Security office are collecting my information. Like, so many government offices collect my information by people who I definitely didn't elect, and neither did Destiny. They're totally fine with that. But for some reason with these guys, no, that's too much.
That's a good point.
I mean, the reason,
That's a good point,
The reason
isn't it?
why is because these things have been authorized by law. There's a process and procedure there. The Social Security Administration was created by Congress. There is a process and procedure by which they collect data, and they have a process and procedure by which they store data and who's allowed to access it. Elon Musk is definitionally an unelected bureaucrat who is now.
I'm 100% positive that Elon wants my personal information, that he's going to run a credit card scam using my Social Security number and address. I'm 100% sure that's what Elon is doing. And that's exactly what the leftists are trying to get their constituents up in arms about by making them afraid of such. Because what they really don't want, what they're really afraid of, is the audit and the end to their grift and their graft.
Part of a shadow government who is going from agency to agency, cutting whatever he decides is necessary. In terms of there being transparency, all of this stuff was already publicly available. They've literally shuttered the USAID offices. What do you mean? They've literally frozen payments from the Treasury.
Yeah,
shuttered them as in they tried to give a mass recall saying all the employees needed to come home, which was stopped by a TRO, by a judge. And now a lot of these programs, there was just recently a report by the head of the Treasury guy, who now is fired, who was saying that there's a whole bunch of food and stuff that we ship to other countries. It's just going to spoil because now we've cut off funding and money for it. All of these things have just been unilaterally.
Yes, all of these heartbreaking fraud cases, because I'm calling them fraud, because in all likelihood, it's just a leftist crying point. Even if there was a little bit of validity to it, we as the American public elected Donald Trump to do this, to try to get a handle on the budget, and the Democrats are getting in the way.
Cut by Elon Musk and Trump without any authorization from Congress, despite the fact that Congress was the one that authorized the funds for these programs and authorized these offices and agencies. If you want to remove all of these things, that's fine. If you want $500,000 being spent for trans ballets in Nepal for atheists or whatever, that's fine. If you don't want it, then Congress has to defund it. That's the way that this process works. It's not up.
No, Congress actually doesn't approve where that money goes. They approve a budget going to USAID, not USAID, because that's just a psyop in and of itself, because they really don't provide much aid. But these people are the ones deciding how to spend it, not Congress. Congress allocates a budget, and now the executive branch gets to decide how that money is spent.
To the president unilaterally to decide what he likes or doesn't like. That's already been passed
hang on.
by the Congress.
Well, hang on.
It's not up to you.
That's actually, I was going to say, look, that's not actually correct. He's entitled to do this, and then there can be legal.
Absolutely not.
Well, hang on. Then there can be legal challenges, and Trump made it clear in the Oval Office yesterday he would accept what a judge said. Now, by contrast, I remember Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, when it came to the Texas ruling in a court by a judge about abortion medication, for example, she said that the Democrats should not accept what that judge had ruled. Right? So why is it one rule? Why is it one rule for Democrats that they can ignore a judge's order with impunity? But when President Trump says, if you want to challenge this, no problem, I would accept the ruling of the judge. Isn't that democracy?
What years was AOC the president of the United States?
What difference does that make?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because she's not in the position to do these things. She can give the advice on it. If you wanted me to ask myself, like,
she's an elected lawmaker who doesn't want to obey the law.
A lawmaker. She's in a different branch of government. She's part of the legislature. We're not talking about the
Stupid Pierce Morgan. He gives the example of AOC. And of course, Destiny is wrong, because she should not be calling for the executive branch to ignore the court's ruling. I mean, to some degree, that is a form of sedition. But stupid Pierce Morgan. Joe Biden actively bragged about ignoring the Supreme Court on two different occasions. One being the student loan program, and the second being the eviction moratorium that was declared to be illegal. If you're not paying rent, you can be evicted. And Biden went out of his way to overturn, in whatever manner he could, the SCOTUS. And this is SCOTUS, not a lower court, but the Supreme Court. And I've got the receipts right here.
You cannot let this decision be the last word. While the court can render a decision It cannot change what America stands for. Tens of millions of people in debt were literally about to be canceled, their debts. And the Supreme Court blocked it. They blocked it. But that didn't stop me. I announced we were going to pursue alternatives. The Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. I'm relieving the burden of student debt. And the Supreme Court told me I couldn't. I found two other ways to do it.
So stupid Piers Morgan has this pre-planned almost, it seems, and he's bringing up AOC and giving Destiny a point that he could potentially parry as opposed to just going in and hacking him right in the center of his body. It is just, oh my goodness, just a completely wasted opportunity. I hope Andrew Wilson brings it up.
Legislature. We're not talking about a random lawmaker right now. We're talking about the president of the United States doing things to intentionally contravene. You can't just say you could break the law.
President Biden did the same over student loans.
No, he absolutely didn't. When the Supreme Court shut him down in one thing, then he took a different avenue. It was not the same. President Biden did not ignore temporary restraining orders.
He ignored the Supreme Court. He contravened the Supreme Court, something that you should be impeached for.
Wasn't issued TROs to stop what he was doing with the loan forgiveness. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah,
to say that
this
is not the same. It's not the same process.
Hang on,
Destiny.
I just
Vance
let you go.
and other people have said over and over. I'm still responding to Piers. Vance and others have made it clear over and over again.
He's just going to keep talking, and try to dislodge the argument that Andrew Wilson is going to make.
Quoted the Andrew Jackson quote, and they've said, well, we should just resist the judiciary. It is not part of law and order. It's not part of checks and balances for the executive to say, well, I don't care what a judge says. We'll just do whatever, which is what they're currently doing. And a judge is
which is what Joe Biden did. I showed you the receipts.
Already said they've done with the TRO that was placed on them, having to do with freezing federal funding. So they've already broken with what the judges are telling them to some extent. And at the end of the day, there's no way to check and balance the executive if they're just going to do what they want to do. You have no checks and balances there. What are men in robes and lawmakers going to walk down and fight with the U.S. Marshals and the FBI? Like, it's not going to happen.
Andrew?
Yeah, right. Exactly. So this is an issue. What you have is an issue of authority. So Trump he's trying to expand the limits of his office as fast as possible, and I understand why. Last time he was there, they were trying to impeach him from basically day one, made up this phony Russian collusion nonsense.
I'm likely going to agree with everything that Andrew says, but I don't understand how you can't hammer Destiny over the head with the hypocrisy of saying that Trump is ignoring the courts when this is a lower court that's not definitive. This is a TRO, and Trump is actually trying to comply with it, apparently. But Biden can ignore the Supreme Court on two different occasions. This is why the Democrats lost. This is why everybody despises them, because they are the ones that project all of their actions that they're doing upon the other side, when in fact they are the ones committing essentially murder against the Constitution of the United States.
He comes in now, he has nothing to lose. He's going to expand his office as quickly as possible, try to move things as quickly as he possibly can. And most importantly, he doesn't trust the judicial branch. That's what he said himself in his various speeches. I don't trust them to give fair rulings. I don't trust that they're actually there in respect to actual law. He doesn't actually even believe that. So what he's doing is he's expanding as quickly. Hang on, my turn. So he's expanding it as quickly as he possibly can. But he did say that he would abide by the rulings of these judges. He just recently said this, and we don't know what's gonna come of that. Right now, he's expanding this office to try to figure out these audits, this type of thing. I don't see what he's actually done wrong. You're already panicking, but we haven't really had a chance to see what happens if he abides by these rulings, doesn't abide by these rulings.
Right.
We don't really know that yet.
Right.
Well, Doge in and of itself is probably a wholly illegal agency. I don't think that Doge even exists. I don't think they have the legal capacity to even do what Trump.
False. Trump knew that he was going to employ this, and he had an agency that was created under Obama, and he folded Doge in that.
Wants them to do. Number one.
Know
number
your
two,
stuff, Destiny.
Bringing up the Russia collusion stuff is funny when the entire foundation for Hunter Biden and Burisma was entirely fabricated. That person's already been convicted by the FBI for lying about the origination for that. And three, Donald Trump was already found to have people who were working with him collude with Russia. Roger Stone did it, but he was pardoned by Donald Trump. The same way Donald Trump pardoned all 1,600 J6 offenders.
The same way that Biden
just that were
that Biden does the whole crime family, right? Pardons the whole crime family. But that's fine.
Oh,
yeah.
The J6ers who already served several years in jail for example, trespassing. I think that they served long enough as opposed to BLM Antifa that are running about the streets after they assaulted Secret Service on May 29th, 2020 and tried to burn down St. John's Church and light the guard posts on fire at the White House. Yeah, Destiny. Yeah, the law is not applied equally, and it's the Democrats that are doing it. The uniparty that wants to seize control of the entire world.
How many crimes
And
have they
then- and
committed?
then pardons-
Oh wait, the
pardons vouching on-
Republicans had like 8
Well, how will we
years
ever
to
know? They're all
investigate them and
pardoned.
found nothing. How do
They're
you
all
know? You had
pardoned.
8 years to investigate it. What do you mean? How many special
Yeah, I don't know.
counsels?
Well,
How many?
how did we have 8
Republican
years to
things? They
investigate
had
him?
nothing.
How did
Because
we
they've
have
been
8 years to
investigating him
investigate
from as soon as Biden was in office. They've been investigating this guy, Hunter Biden, over and over and over and over and over again, and they found nothing. That's why
I'm
the
not talking
charges
about
we got at the
Hunter
end of the day
Biden.
were for.
That's why he
tax
took a
fraud.
plea deal?
For Joe Biden,
Really?
they found nothing ever. They've
Well,
been
Destiny,
investigating
hang on, hang on.
The big guy, Tony Bobolinsky, all of the evidence that was presented, they found nothing, you claim. BS.
Hang
Facts
on,
like
guys,
this
guys.
isn't going to make your
All
points any
fake
better. And I
news.
just want to make
All
sure that
fake
we
news.
Destiny,
can
why-
get back to the actual
At the end of
point.
the day, the
Destiny,
facts
if none
don't
of them have
matter,
committed
yeah.
crimes, why do they all need preemptive pardons?
Yeah, they all need pardons.
Because Trump
though.
has shown over and over again that he doesn't need crimes to start chasing down people, and the Republicans have no problem hunting people down to try to go.
Really, as opposed to what the Democrats did, hunting down Donald Trump for literally made up crimes, hunting down his associates, going after his lawyers for providing advice. You know that there's Project 65 that is specifically going after anybody that lends support to Donald Trump, trying to get them disbarred. The whole machinations of the Democrats are to try to disbar, to literally defenestrate, which means to throw somebody out of the window. Okay, maybe not literally, but figuratively. The MAGA Republicans, I mean, Destiny is just a gaslighter. I do not like the guy.
On
And
fishing
the
expeditions
Democrats
by whatever
haven't
crime
been
they
doing
think
that
is
to him for the
fine.
last year.
Give me one example.
Stormy bloody Daniels. Honestly.
Did he break a law? Did he break a law?
What a
Also, that wasn't the
farce of a
federal government.
case.
That was the state.
Are you
so just don't
honestly
like the law.
happy
That's
that
fine.
the
You don't
only
like the law. If you
time an
don't like the
American
law,
hang on, the
yeah.
only
If you
time
don't
an
like the law,
American
you just don't
president
like the law.
has-
No, I don't care.
the
I don't care.
only
Here,
time-
Yes, you do care. You absolutely care because it's devastating to your case.
if
Like
an
the law,
American
just say
president was
that.
ever
Say, I don't
dragged through
like
a
the
criminal
law.
court was over a one-night stand with a porn star 20 years ago. Utterly
It
preposterous.
wasn't over a one-night stand. It was over misappropriating
Oh,
campaign
come
funds
on,
and then creating
Destiny.
a paper trail. You can, if you
You're
don't like
so
the
full of it,
law, that's
Destiny. Does
fine.
You've had
anybody believe
presidents
it?
like Obama waging illegal drone programs, killing thousands of innocent people. Why is he not in a criminal
Illegal as
court?
per who? Illegal as per who? Which crimes? What are we talking about?
You don't think illegal
You can't
drone
just say
programs
illegal
are criminal?
because it sounds.
You can pin a crime on literally anybody. Under Stalin in Russia, they had an aphorism. The chief prosecutor there said, "Show me the man and I'll find you the crime." That is exactly what they did to Donald Trump. This is what Meg Benz disclosed that the uniparty, that the deep state was doing in Poland, where somebody is currently from the former administration being charged and prosecuted and being sent to prison for liking a tweet. This is what they're doing.
Illegal as per who?
Oh, you think they're
You just say
lawful?
illegal because it sounds bad. Apparently so.
What
Yeah, he
about the
consulted with
illegal
the Office of
invasion
Legal
of
Counsel before
Iraq by
doing-
George Bush?
Which? What are we talking about for illegal invasion? Illegal
I'm
as per
talking
what
about
crime?
crimes.
Which crime? Which crime?
Pierce is not the smartest dude. He's just not.
What crime
A
are you talking
bigger
about?
crime
For
than
New York
sleeping
State,
with a
it was a
porn
crime. He
star.
misappropriated campaign funds.
I'm making
What?
the point. The only time an American president has ever been dragged through a criminal court was not over running illegal drone programs or illegally invading sovereign countries. It was over an alleged one-night stand with a porn
I
star
can't- these are-
that involved a bit of paper shuffling. It was completely ridiculous.
You have strong feelings about what you think should be a crime or not, but if you don't care about the law, there's no legal argument to be had then. If you just think it's a crime because it's bad and you don't like it, or you think it's a crime or it's not a
Destiny
crime
logic
because you don't
for
think it's a big deal, that's fine. But I mean, like, if you want to have
Yeah,
the
here's
legal
Destiny
argument,
logic for you. As
if you want
long
to
as
talk about
bad things are done via the process of law, that's fine. But if you do good
I didn't
things
say it
absent
was
the process
fine.
of
I'm
law,
saying-
that's bad. It's like, what are you talking about, man?
yeah, I know. Here's my chain of logic. I know it's hard to follow. If you are a criminal, it's because you've broken a
Talk
law.
real slow.
Not all bad things are criminal, okay? Not all bad things are crimes. You can think somebody did a bad thing, but they didn't commit a crime. Donald Trump committed crimes in New York State, probably
A crime. Mislabeling, apparently, according to the made-up case, a payment.
he committed crimes insofar as George is concerned.
wanted
And he's
to send
committed
him to
federal
jail for
crimes insofar
multiple
as the
years.
Mar-a-Lago documents case was and the J6 case was. He won't be held accountable for all of that, thankfully, because he's dismissed it. He does everything he can to elude accountability. But those are crimes. If you want to say, I don't like the war in Iraq and that's illegal as per who? We can talk about the ICJ or the ICC if you want, but that gets obviously way more complicated.
No, that
But if you wanna
wasn't
say
what my point
illegal,
was.
you
My
have to
point
refer to
was-
crimes.
Yeah, it wasn't my point. My point was to say that from your view, you're only concerned about process of law
The
in
law,
this case,
yes,
right?
the law, yes,
Not about
correct,
not
yes.
hang on. Not about the moral implications of the actual waste, fraud, and abuse that is brought up. Only that the technical process is followed. So it's like, okay, but what if they're not following your technical process, but they're actually finding waste, fraud, and abuse from a moral implication? That's actually a good thing. Now, I don't even agree with you that they're breaking any laws. I don't even agree that they're breaking any laws. These challenges are brand new. We have no idea how this is going to play out. You don't, I don't, but we have no idea
We
if
have a
he's
good
going
idea.
to
We think we
adhere
can.
to what the court is going to say. No, we don't have a good idea. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's not. We don't know for sure that Trump is going to just go, oh, I'm just going to Jackson the courts. The courts can enforce their own law. Like, that is speculation that's beyond the
Andrew
pale.
Jackson.
They've
that I don't
already
even
done
think
that. A
there's
judge has
political
already
will.
issued a ruling saying they've already violated a TRO. So that's already happened to some extent. Now, how far will it go? Who knows? They've already done exactly that. Doge does not have the legal authority to go in and unilaterally.
No, they're giving a legal challenge back,
federal offices.
Destiny.
They have. They
Yeah,
didn't
they're
even
giving a legal
respond.
challenge back.
Read the TROs. Their response was, "Oh, we're going after fraud," and the judge laughed. And he said, "This isn't even a
That
response."
doesn't mean that doesn't. Wait. So yes, they are. Not only are they going to respond to this, but they're setting up for legal challenges to go back the other direction. This is obvious. And by the way, this is part of the process. Like, I don't know why you just pretend like these politicians don't expand their offices all the time. And that's what the judicial does, right? It comes in, it'll rein it in. It'll say, this is constitutional. It's not constitutional. You can do this. You can't do this. They do it all the time. There's so much precedent for this, in fact. So if he doesn't adhere to what the judges end up saying, to what these courts actually say when he has no more legal standing to fight it, then you have a leg to stand on. Right now, you don't.
He's
Right
already
now,
done that.
he's acting,
Okay, well,
he's
look,
acting the best he can
all right.
in the ability of the office of the President of the United States.
Chaps, we will see.
So the goal,
because
so the
That's
goal
right.
should be to just break as many laws as possible, then, and then see what happens.
no,
That's
Trump
the
has made
right
it clear
course
he'll
of
accept
action.
the ruling of the judges. If
straw
he
man,
doesn't,
Dustin.
that's another matter. Look, I want to end
That
on
doesn't
some-
even follow anyway.
Well, there you guys have it. A relatively unprepared Pierce Morgan setting up destiny with AOC and then not hammering in Joe Biden doing far worse than whatever they're even accusing Donald Trump of doing today. Again, it's the complete double standard that exists in politics that should move people away from the Democrat Party, from this uniparty globalists that want total control over the world, and to people with more common sense, which is what the Trump administration is. And I fully approve of his job in office so far. I hope you guys do. Please thumb up the video, subscribe if you have not yet, because we have more of these coming out, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Have a great day. Peace.